Caribbean is full of one-pot dishes, and this is a classic Jamaican one-pot. It's Jamaican red peas with spinners, which is another name for dumplings, and this is full of all kinds of flavors. We have a great array of different flavors that are coming out. We have the beef, which gives a really meaty, great beef flavor punch, followed by a layer of red beans and vegetables. We have starch, and we also have great color coming from pumpkin and calabaza. Now, the red beans and rice came from the Ivory Coast of West Africa, where there's a particular tribe called the Akan tribe, and they did rice and peas. So this can be served as well with additional rice, but what I love about this dish is hearty, it packs a punch, and it really satisfies your tummy. So bon appetit. Traditionally, dumpling is very simple in the sense of it's all-purpose flour, salt, and water. You also have other versions depending on the island. So we can do cornmeal dumpling, which we would do flour with more cornmeal, so you get a nice textured bite to it. We also have the cassava dumpling, where we actually grate fresh cassava very, very fine, add it into our flour, so you get some nice texture on that, and that gives you two options that you can do. We have all-purpose flour, we have cornmeal, we're adding a little bit of freshly grated nutmeg to it, a little bit of salt. Now I'm just going to mix this in, the dry ingredients, with my hands, and what you're trying to achieve is a firm dough. We're just adding in slowly enough water to bring it together. And the addition of the cornmeal will require that you would use a little bit extra water to this, because it's going to just absorb the liquid. It's really important. You want to know, like, when will it be ready? And when you look at the bowl, the cornmeal, the flour, the water is coming in really, really nicely. It leaves the sides of the bowl, and you can feel with your hands a firm dough. Everything sort of comes together nicely, and there's actually nothing left in the bowl except for your dumpling dough. We're going to do two types. One sort of resembles a gnocchi, although it's not a gnocchi, but it's going to be basically just rolled and cut into almost pillow-like segments, okay? Cylindrical shape, as you can see. And then we're going to cut them in probably a ½ inch pillow-like. The next way is what the Jamaicans call spinners. We've mixed the same batch, but having done one version of the dumpling, you may notice, because the cornmeal continues to pull on moisture, you may want to just add a very light amount of water so that it makes it a little more pliable when you're rolling out. But you see the technique of rolling a small piece back and forth, and we get a lovely cylindrical look. It's important to ensure that the water is salted. Why? Because you want that salt to infuse inside the bean. If you don't do that, you're going to end up with a complete cooked bean that has no flavor on the inside, and then all the liquid is on the outside. Okay, so we're just taking our red beans, adding our water, enough water to cover, and salt. We're going to cover this and allow this to simmer for ½ an hour. We want to take it up a notch. And how are we going to do that? We're going to brown the meat and get that really great flavor to get into that pot. Just going to put a little bit of oil in our pan, and we're just allowing it to brown nicely. We're going to put it into the pot with this. Now we're going to add celery, onions, some scallion, a little bit of garlic, fine leaf thyme that's nice and fresh, and of course, what would not be Caribbean without a little bit of Scotch bonnet. See, and I'm going to add a little bit of water to the mix to cover, and we cover and allow it to simmer. So our beef has been simmering nicely for about ½ an hour. We're going to add some carrots, which gives some lovely color, some pumpkin, and our starch, which is taro root, and potatoes. So I'm going to cover and let it simmer for 20 minutes. And finish with a little bit of coconut milk. So I put the spinners on top. This is going to absorb the liquid that is all around it with all those wonderful flavors, but it's also going to help us in thickening. Cover for 10 minutes, and then we should be ready for plate up. Okay, you can't ask for anything better than this.